You're listening to
Social Distancing, a podcast produced by Olivet College
to remind you that no matter how far we are from each other,
we're all a part of the
Olivet College family.
Hello and welcome back on this beautiful day to Social Distancing, Olivet College's podcast to keep you entertained, keep you updated, and keep us connected during this time of social distancing and the COVID-19 pandemic. I'm Ryan Shockey, and today with me I have our co-host, Daine. Daine, how are you doing?
I'm so good, Shockey. So nice to see you in a Zoom room again.
Yes, Daine, we're probably going to break some sort of record for Zoom meetings, aren't we? I feel like this is just a normal.
Are.
Well, you and me together.
Oh, like a duo? Yeah, we're probably up there. We're Stockton Malone. I'll be Carl Malone.
That Stockton fits me more than Malone. I'm short. You're taller.
I was going to say Gary Payton, Sean Kemp, because I was a big Sean Kemp guy, but I didn't know if you're a glove, what kind of facilitator you are.
Yeah, no, I could be more of a Stockton guy. I like that.
You're a little less flashy, so that's fine.
Yeah, just straight fundamentals, you know. So we're glad to have you with us today on the show as we begin to get into the heart of summer and enjoy a lot of this beautiful weather, keep you connected, and just check in with people from around campus and see how everyone's doing.
Absolutely. And there are lots of ways that you can hear that, see that, do that. We are pretty much anywhere you can get your podcast, whether that's through iTunes, through Apple, through the podcast app, also on Google Podcasts, also on Pocket Cast, pretty much anywhere. But most importantly, and where we would send you, I'm on Olivet College social media and the Olivet College YouTube channel. You can find them all. Really nice graphic. Marketing team does a lot of work behind the scenes to make it all look nice, sound nice, and come together in the end. You can also reach out to us. You can reach out to me, Daine Pavlovski, the assistant professor of journalism and mass communication, or the athletic director and COVID-19 czar, Ryan Shockey.
I think just response officer is what we're going with. And I think a czar would require me to wear like a fur jacket and a cigar to work. Yeah. I think that'd be perfect.
I'll be your assistant czar. But thanks to everybody that's listened to the previous 9. This is like a milestone. It is episode 10 of the Social Distancing Podcast. So that's really exciting. We got great guests today. As a faculty member, I'm super excited because I like to get to know students who aren't directly involved in my program. And we have a student today that I always see, and he's one of those Olivet students that every few years you get a new one who you see them in everything. Like he's popping up on videos, telling people what to bring to campus. He's giving advice. Somebody's talking, oh yeah, this nice kid, he's doing this. And so I'm excited to get to learn about him a little bit today. But he is, correct me if I'm wrong, fair guest, heading into his junior year, boom, from Canada, business administration major, has done some resident advising.
Yes, it's my first year last year.
Oh, see, look at this. And a member of the Olivet College Comet football team. Our guest today is Chad Enwright. Chad, welcome to the cast. We're super excited. Chad, to kind of get things rolling, introduce yourself to the people. What are you all about, and how did you end up in Olivet, Michigan?
That's a great question. I mean, I've been asking myself that for the past 2 years now. It's always been something that my dad and I always discuss because it was one of those things that just kind of just fell into place because it's a long story, but I can get through it. I was in high school when I was in early high school, and it was my brother's freshman year in college. He graduated last April, I believe. He went to Earlham College in Richmond, Indiana, and it was his first college game, and we were here in OC. And so we figured, hey, it's his first college game. We're going to drive down. It's only 3 hours to get here, it's not too bad. It's 6 hours to get to Indiana as opposed to 3 from here to home. So that was cool. And they played Olivet. I'm pretty sure it was your guys' homecoming. And I remember sitting in the away stands when you guys beat us 70-something to 6. And it was pretty embarrassing on our half. But, I mean, my dad and I kind of looked at each other and we're like, I want to go to a school like this. Like, I want to get recruited to a really solid football program, you know, a nice academic environment, small town, nice campus. I want to go there. And so a few years later, when I started to get recruited by schools, it was something like 70 plus schools that were, you know, calling my phone and were interested in me. And my dad and I were just talking about it. He was on the computer one day on my recruiting profile and was just sitting there and was like, why can't he get recruited by a school like this? Like, what is it going to take to get recruited by a school like this? And less than 5 minutes after he said that, he got a call from the former running back coach, Cody Carlisle, saying, hey, we want him to come down for a visit at Olivet. Just to see the stands on the other side completely packed, to see the environment, to see you guys run out of the helmet for the first time. I'd never witnessed that before, like live. That was my first, I believe that was my first college football game I've ever went to. And it left an impact for sure. I was like, I want to go to a school like that. And so for it to all unfold and the way it happened and through the many schools that I got recruited by and visited and stuff like that, this was the first school that I visited. And it was the one that I was comparing every other school to. We'd always mention, we go, yeah, but this school has this, but Olivet's got this, right? Or, oh, I liked it better at Olivet. Or actually committed on my dad's, I think it was his 50th birthday, 49th birthday, something like that.
Nice.
Yeah, February 2nd, I committed to OC. I got recruited for 2 years, came here summer of 2018, and I've been taking a bite out of college ever since, been living it up.
Very cool.
Love it.
So as Professor Pav mentioned in your introduction, you're featured a lot around Olivet College with different videos, and you do a lot of work for the marketing program. There was a feature done a while ago, and it talks about this quote. I'll read the quote for you. It would ask you a little bit about it, but your quote is, "It's not where you came from. It's about how you take advantage of your opportunities. It is how you present yourself and make yourself succeed. You can come from all ends of the earth, and you can make it happen." So where's this come from within you? Where'd you get this kind of thing, and how does it relate to Olivet College and your experience at Olivet?
Everything that I've been taught growing up it's always been about learning. It's never been about like making a mistake and getting punished for it. It's always been learning from your mistakes, figuring out how to get past that, and understanding that the things that are going to advance you in life are a choice, not a chore. And I was talking to a couple of my friends about that just the other day, because when it comes to education and when it comes to school, they were in high school and they were slackers, and they didn't really understand the meaning of the education until they got to college and realized it's pretty serious. The one thing that I would always say is that it's a choice, not a chore. And if you treat it like that, then it becomes something that you are more inclined to do better in, and something that you want to be a part of. And that's why I'm so involved in everything. It's because I made the choice to be here. Why not do great at it, right? Why not be great in the classroom? Why not, be great in my job, on the football field, wherever it may be, as an RA, I feel like no matter where you come from, if you make the right choices and the right decisions, you can do whatever you want to do, just as long as you have the right mindset for it.
So Chad, we try to make a positive. It's a good thing. It's happy. We want people to be. What's some good news you have, or is there something good you're seeing, something nice you're seeing out there?
For me, it's just nice to be here, have the opportunity to be here. Weather's starting to get nicer. I think that's cool. Starting to see a lot of my teammates come out around Olivet, and obviously practicing social distancing, but staying in touch as much as we can, going out, throwing the football around. Just happy to be back at Olivet, doing what we can. And it's keeping me in a better place too, because for me as a Canadian right now, just the other day they announced that the border is being closed until July 21st. So I can go home, but it is nice to see how many people are active around here and how many people are, just so happy to see other people. And it's nice to be able to go to a restaurant if you want to and just be safe about it, or go to a drive-in movie theater, or go to the lakes, or wherever you need to be. For me, the one positive note that I can say is I'm just happy to be back on the football field and to see some of my teammates that I haven't seen in a long time, because I basically had to race back across the border once I got the news that they were about to shut down the U.S.-Canada border. And I've kind of been here ever since. So it was a little rough around the edges when I was going through the remote learning session. There was nobody around, but now it's starting to pick up again, and the weather's starting to get nicer, and I'm starting to see more people, and I think that's pretty good. I think that's where it's positive for me right now.
You can explore campus on a virtual tour, learn about the admissions process, and talk through financial aid with the expert admissions team during an OC Nation live virtual event every week, Tuesday through Thursday. Decision time for high school students is here, and Olivet College is excited to welcome you to the Comet family. Learn more and register now by contacting the Office of Admissions at 800-456-7189 or admissions@olivetcollege.edu.
Can you talk a little bit about what it's like to be a part of the Olivet College football team? Because I'll tell you, when I was here, they won one game in 4 years. And the whole ambiance was a little different. So what's it like to be a part of that football team? What's it like being a Comet?
It's just being a part of a family, and regardless of where you came from, regardless of your upbringing, your culture, whatever it may be, we're just a family. We stick together. I mean, it's a really, really cool dynamic to be a part of something so special, and that I can come from where I'm from, and my roommate freshman year is from Metro Detroit. We mesh like we're brothers just because, we got along. We're a part of the football team. Our lockers are right next to each other, and we've been best friends ever since. And I think that's what's special about it. I think that's what happens. You start building these brotherships, and that's why it's called the Band of Brothers. Is we have a couple guidelines that we go by, and our first rule is to build the Band of Brothers, and that's our thing, is to make everyone a family. It's always knowing that at the end of the day, the guy that you're going against or the guy beside you is always going to be there for you. That's the one thing that I would like to say for freshmen that are coming in as well. I mean, you have almost 120 friends right off the bat, just because you're wearing the same colors and you're running on the same field every day. That was really special to me. And with the help of Coach Moose, especially, it's not just about being a better football player. It's about being a better man. Everyone's there for you. And that's just because of the time you put in, the dedication you have to being on the field, in the weight room, in the classroom, everything. It becomes part of your life. And that's just something that Coach Moose and the other members of our staff are really good at, is understanding that once we get this mindset going, it's going to help us out in the future, because they're not building us for today. They're building us for tomorrow and for our future. And to be a part of that program, that's what it is learning how to be a man, learning how to be a better football player, a better communicator, a better leader, a better teammate, a better friend. That's what it's about. And just to be here in the summertime, to see those guys for the first time in months, that's why it's such a special feeling for me.
As you've talked about, you're over here in the United States, away from your family that's in Canada. I'm sure your family's doing some different things now that they were quarantined. And I guess I don't know, a great question would be, where's Canada at in all of this right now? But when you're here and you're by yourself during this time, what have you found to help you pass the time, or what are you doing to pass the time during this new normal?
I think the biggest thing for me is just staying active. Like, I bought myself an Apple Watch just to track my steps and my exercise. My girlfriend's family let me borrow a bike so I can ride around town if need be. Just going on the field, running, throwing, doing what I can, especially now that my teammates are coming back and they're around. I guess just staying active, just doing the best I can to stay out of the house as much as I can. So, because I work during the day, to be able to get outside and liven up, brighten up my day that's what helps me for sure. Is just go out, be active.
And then how's your family doing back in Canada, and how are things going up there? I think it was episode 2, Daine, looking back on it, we had Nicole Dwert on that. She's from Canada and she's one of our golfers, a senior this year. And she talked about her experience there. What are you hearing from your family, and how are they doing? Yeah,
my family's doing good. They're both essential. One works in hydro, one works in security. So pretty important businesses, but I just keep in contact with them as much as I can. I call them pretty much every weekend just to check in, see how they're doing. I play video games with a lot of my friends from back home. I got one of my best friends is in Toronto, and one of my best friends is in London, where I grew up. And they just keep me updated, keep me posted, because a lot of times, especially with the climate and the culture of the U.S. right now, all I'm seeing is U.S. news. It's hard to keep up with what's going on back home. My friends are doing good, and they're keeping in touch with everything. So is my family. They're still trying to stay safe and working as best they can. But I think Canada's doing okay. I think their numbers as far as this COVID thing are doing really well, and they're starting to open things up. Yeah, family's doing good.
You talked about you're playing video games with your friends back home. What video games are you playing right now? What kind of stuff are you watching right now? Like, we're open to suggestions. I need a new game to play. I need something new to watch.
I play Call of Duty. That's my big thing on the Xbox. Call of Duty, Warzone, Modern Warfare, whatever it is. My friends and I just stay in touch that way. We play Madden because we're still trying to get our football fix in for sure. But I'm waiting for the new season of Last Chance U to come out.
Right?
That's what I'm waiting for. Everyone
Oh.
keeps tweeting at him and saying, hey, you got all this free time with everybody. Why don't you release it early? And they just haven't yet. They keep saying, nope, summertime. Wait
Yeah.
for summer. That's what I'm waiting for.
I just watched through all the previous Last Chance U for like the third time, just
Right.
waiting. I'm just like, it's got to be soon. But, oh.
Yep, it's coming soon, and I know Stranger Things is coming soon. Season 4 of Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Now that's where it's at. I'm
Yeah,
excited
Shockey
about
jam.
that.
I remember last year it dropped on July 4th. So
Yep.
Yeah.
So, Chad, it seems like so much of what you do at Olivet involves connecting other students. I think the obvious question for me, or maybe other people too, is why do you spend so much of the little free time you have helping other students?
I guess just because it makes me feel good. It makes me feel good to help others, and to have that active selflessness. That just, I don't know. It always feels good to give back and to help other people, especially because from what I've grown up with and what I've learned growing up, it's always nicer to give than to get. So just to help out where I can, especially being an RA, and to try and do my best to give them the best living environment, and with marketing, just to try and help out where I can, and give other people the idea of how good Olivet College really is through all of my different projects in Olivet. That's what it comes down to, is just to make sure everybody has the best opportunities and the best chances that they got to make it the best college experience that they can. Because I know for me, I'm having a blast. I'm doing really well. But some people might need a push or a motivation to get them there. And if that can be me, then I'd be willing to do it.
Chad, I said right at the beginning, the first time I knew of Chad Enwright, I think I saw you at an orientation when I was here, but I remember I started seeing you in videos and like the move-in
Yes.
day and the different things like advice. Let's say with following all distancing and all those things, you had the incoming comet sitting in front of you on a Zoom room or something. What are some things you would want to tell them before they start their journey here?
Take a bite out of it. That was the one thing that my dad told me. He says, you're going to be ready to conquer the world once you're done college. Take a bite out of it while you're there. And that's the same thing that I tell everybody else. And it took me about a year to get out of my shell at first, because, coming to a whole new country, it was a culture shock as well with football and everything. I was doing pretty much 2-a-days for the first 10 days of being in this country. It was interesting for sure, especially adjusting to American football, and with my teammates and my classes and everything. I realized very quickly how fast it went by, and how much there was you were missing out on if you were just going to stay in your dorm, or if you were too shy or something like that. I was shy at first too. Things change quickly. You just got to meet the right people, and you got to go to different events. But the one thing that I noticed about OC is there's not a lot of judgmental people. There's not a lot of hate. There's nothing like that. We've been doing a really good job of just building this family environment. And that's the one thing that we always talk about in marketing too, is that here you're a name, you're a person. You're not just a number like you probably would have experienced staying at MSU. People know you just by, talking to you, your teachers, your counselors. Everyone is on a first name basis. They want to know you. They want to see you succeed, right? Like, I've probably seen you a handful of times. We just hold the door for one another over by the conservatory where it was. So, that type of stuff doesn't happen everywhere. And the one thing that I would say to everybody is just to take a bite out of it. Just go take a class that you're not sure you want to take, or go to an event you're not sure of, or make a friend grab you and take you somewhere. But don't say no to the things that could be exciting, or the different events that you could go to, or experiences that you wouldn't otherwise have if you weren't at college. The little things are what I remember the most. And it's not going to be the classes. It's not going to be, the notes that you took. It's the things that you do with the other people. Whether it's, for me, it's going to be, I'm going to remember standing in front of a camera for the first time and having to do a video that talked about, what to bring to campus. And now I'm going to remember the last time when I graduated, I'm going to remember the last time I stood in front of a camera and see the difference of how that took. For someone who was too shy to even take a photo of himself, to someone who's willing to sit here with a podcast with you guys and talk about my life story. It's the development that, with professors, advisors, my coaches, everybody wants you to have. And obviously my parents too, just saying, hey, take a bite out of it.
Connect with the admissions team during a virtual one-on-one session via Zoom. High school seniors and parents can meet with their admissions rep to cover individual questions for a personalized visit experience. Learn more and register now by emailing admissions@olivetcollege.edu. That's admissions@olivetcollege.edu.
So, Chad, you've mentioned it a couple times, and then you kind of started to hit on it, and so I'm going to ask you. I remember I do remember when you and your father came on a visit early on, and I came and talked to you guys, and throughout your visit day and then your orientation day, and you and I have known each other throughout your whole time here, and
Yes.
and one of the memorable conversations I have is you didn't feel well and you were sitting in Cutler, but you talked about some of the differences between Canada and the United States, and although we might not think that there's much of an adjustment, there were a lot of different things that you had noticed. So I guess it's a two-part question. Now that you've been here for a couple of years, what are you still seeing as the differences between back home in Canada and in the United States? And then what is the singular biggest difference in playing quarterback in Canadian football versus American football?
So I've been trying to keep note of the different things that I've noticed, but the one thing I always tell people when they ask about what's the difference is I don't know until it happens. Like, it's interesting for me because my girlfriend, she went to Charlotte High School. She's an American through and through. And the different things that we say or we see, it's always funny to find the differences. But like, you see cars here, you see old cars with rust on them, or you see like really old cars that people have, kept up. And that's one thing that I noticed. You guys have milk in cartons instead of bags, or the jugs. Coach Wyman, our tight ends coach, he's always bugging me about bagged milk. I say coffee funny. I didn't say it now because I was thinking about it, but I say coffee funny. I remember James, who works for Chartwell's there at the Starbucks when I was a freshman, I asked him for a double-double, and he looked at me like I was crazy. So, because he didn't know what a double-double was. And to this day, that's what he calls me. He calls me double-double. But for the listeners out there who don't know, it's a regular coffee with 2 cream, 2 sugar. But you get people like who just don't have common courtesy sometimes, or who are a little rough around the edges when they, usually back home for us, everyone's saying sorry to each other or opening doors or paying it forward, whatever it may be. And that's not to disrespect anybody around here, but that's the one culture difference that I noticed. And then as far as football goes, biggest difference is the size of it. It's 110 yards long, 65 yards wide. So it's pretty spacious. And most times, especially at the collegiate level, the end zone kind of arcs with the track to a certain point, and then it cuts off. But it's like a 20-yard end zone. Ball's bigger. It's just more spacious. And that was the one thing coming in as a freshman. My dad helped me out a lot by putting me in different camps and on 7-on-7, like traveling teams to go around in the U.S. and play against U.S. talent, because the game is so much faster because there's less space. It's narrower. It was quite the adjustment playing it as opposed to seeing it or, just playing it in the video games. I mean, I've been watching American football and, playing NCAA football or Madden all my life. So it wasn't foreign in a sense, but it was definitely a different firsthand experience to be able to play it here for the first time in pads with, quality competition against some real stud athletes and, teammates that I have now, just to go up against them every day. And it took me about a year, maybe half a year, to get really used to it. So, but especially coming to the U.S. for that first time, especially to do it at the highest level I've ever played, was pretty interesting.
Is there anything else you want to make sure you say? You've got this platform as it is to get it out. Is there anything else you want to make sure you add, you say, you give people a heads up about?
I just want to make sure everyone's staying safe, staying healthy, doing your best part to be practicing social distancing and things like that. If you're a college student or an incoming high school senior, like I said, take a bite out of life. Go do the things that you were too worried to do before that you're unsure of. Go take those chances, those experiences. Go do something that you've never done before, and live your best life.
I love it. Great advice. And Chad, it's been awesome getting to hear a little bit more about you. Knowing that you're not stuck in town, but in town, if you ever see a Traeger grill out on the house on the corner on the north side of town, go ahead and grab something off there. But it's been really nice chatting about things. just want to shout everybody who's listening out. Again, thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in with us throughout these 10 episodes. Really appreciate it. And it's been a joy getting to know different members of the community a little bit better here in our Olivet College family. Again, you can find us anywhere you get podcasts, Spotify, Apple, Anchor, Pocket Cast, anywhere else. And if you want to be a part of the show, if you want to be interviewed, if you want to just write in some questions, you want to be involved, please let us know if you have questions you want to ask a member of this Olivet College family. Either reach out to me, Daine Pavlovski, DPAVLOSKI at olivetcollege.edu, or Ryan Shockey
at RSHOCKEY at olivetcollege.edu.
Nailed it. Chad, what if somebody heard you and they want to reach out to you? Is there anything you're willing to plug?
Yeah, my email is Enwright at olivetcollege.edu, ENWRIGHT. Feel free to email me about anything. If you want to have your feature story on the Olivet College website, hit me up for that for sure, as well as marketing. They would be glad to hear from you and hear your story and have that posted.
Love it. That's perfect plug. All quick thanks. Obviously, thanks to Chad for joining us today. Really appreciate it. It was a good time. I want to also thank Ryan in the marketing department also for all the things they do behind the scenes. It makes our life pretty easy with this. So also all the college administration, all those people, but I'll quick throw out to, again, Aaron Gowdy, Keon Durite-Rainey, Asher Wertheimer, Travis Garner, and Jackson Patton. Some of them recent graduates, some other students in our program. The Journalism Mass Communication program helped out with the intro and the outro, so thanks to all of them. And then Shockey, who do you want to shout out?
Yeah, obviously, Chad, thank you for jumping on and doing this with us. It's always great to see you. I think we're all missing that interaction with our students. So it's always great to hear from a student and get to talk to you and see how you're doing and just check in. Daine, this is always a lot of fun and I appreciate it. Thanks for all of your work on the editing. Like I say, every episode, I guess I'll still believe you that this takes time to edit and that you put a lot of time and effort into it. And I appreciate you making us sound good and all that you've done for the podcast. As always, like to thank our faculty, staff, and students for all the great work that they're doing in preparations for coming back next year. Big thank you to fathers. Father's Day is coming up this weekend, and be just if you have that special person in your life that is either actually your father or a father figure to them or to you, thank you to them. Our lives would be much different without those men in our lives that help us out and through some tough times. And a big thank you to sOCial employees. Even though that things are starting to slow down, we still know that this is a hard job, and they're out there every day on the front lines, working to make sure that our communities stay healthy and stay safety. And just a big thank you for everybody's patience. I think that's one thing I've observed. People have learned to be more patient, and it's good. And a big thank you for that.
Absolutely. Well, thanks everybody listening. Thanks everybody for joining us. Hopefully this helped bring a little light to your day, because it sure did for us. Keep your eyes peeled and ears open for the next episode. And until then, stay healthy, stay safe, and go Comets.
Go Comets.
Thanks for listening to Social Distancing. Don't forget to subscribe and be on the lookout for more content.